The Salem Witch House is a museum located in Salem, Mass. On Essex Street. This house was established around 1675 and is now considered the only standing structure in Salem, Massachusetts that directly ties to the Salem Witch Trials of 1692. It was the house of Jonathan Corwin, a wealthy merchant and politician, and his wife Elizabeth Gibbs and their 10 children. This house was considered a fine mansion by the colonial Salem standards. Jonathan Corwin was a magistrate and then a judge for the Salem Witch Trials, one of the most tragic events in early American history. After Corwin passed, he was buried in the Broad Street Cemetery, which is located close to the home. The house remained in the Corwin family until the mid-1800s, when it was taken over by the city of Salem to restore and make a museum that the public is able to visit and learn about the past of the Salem Witch Trials. The Salem Witch Trials started during the spring of 1692 when a group of teenage girls in Salem, Massachusetts claimed to be possessed by the devil, and also several local women, Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne, were accused of witchcraft. A special court in Salem agreed to hear the cases. The first convicted witch, Bridget Bishop, was found guilty of the practice of witchcraft and was hanged. Over the next several months, people were accused of accounts of curses, fortune-telling, congress of spirits, and counter-magic methods to protect oneself and one's family from such elements. 185 people were accused, 59 were tried in court, 31 were guilty, and 19 were hung due to being accused of witchcraft. A theory of how witchcraft started is when it was said to have begun when a slave named Tibuta had opened the doors to the witch hysteria in 1662. Writers have claimed she shared stories and spells from her native Barbados in the Paris kitchen, and it was these fearful exchanges that caused the children to be cursed. In the witch house, there are multiple different rooms, one of which was the best room. In the best room, social events and dinners took place. In this room, Jonathan would conduct his business as magistrate, hearing cases of crimes such as swearing in public or burglary. It is rumored that some of the witchcraft accusations were recorded in this room. In here was Elizabeth and Jonathan kept their finest imported furnishings and pieces that showed off their wealth to the community. The table shown is the trestle table. The style of this table dates back to the Middle Ages, and this particular piece is made of one single board. Owning a piece like this was known as a considerable privilege. Another room was the children's room. Jonathan and Elizabeth had 10 children together. Only 2 of them survived into adulthood. This room belonged to Robert Henry Cornwall. Disease was rampant in the colonies as it had been in England and Europe. Smallpox, yellow fever, and tuberculosis were prominent during this time period. Jonathan and Elizabeth raised their kids very strictly. Ministers encouraged parents to dominate the space herself from a very early age, or it would mean the ruin of their child. The children were often warned to make sure that their relationship with God was a true one, and that they had not been deceived by the devil, for death was always near, and they must prepare themselves for it. Play was discouraged among most Puritan families. Games and toys often had a moral or biblical theme to them, such as Noah's Ark. Although discouraged, families, especially wealthy merchant families such as this one, indulged their children with toys. There are records from 1678 showing Jonathan importing toys for his 10 children. In the 17th century, people were very superstitious, especially in the upcoming of their children. Most of the witch trials consisted of parents' fears towards their children. For years, people have put items such as charms, dolls, clothing, and even bones have been found in walls, under floorboards, and in hearthstones. They did this because they thought it would bring the house blessings and that it would protect the inhabitants from bad spirits. The most common item found was one single shoe, because people thought that a spirit would not walk off with just one shoe. The Salem Witch House impacted the region of the past because it blends information about the 17th century lifestyles furnishings, and architecture with documents about events of 1692, such as the witch trials. Visitors to the museum gain better comprehension of the lives of those involved in the witchcraft trials. The witch house is unique compared to the other sites in the Essex County area because it has different architecture and it is Salem's most historic home. It is the only home with a direct tie to the witch trials of 1692. The witch house continues to impact the public today because it gives any visitors information about the witch trials and what was going on at Salem at that specific time period, such as architecture traditions and the lifestyle of the families that lived in the area at that time.